which spans India, China, Australia, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and so on. What I'm going to talk to you about today is not about Whirlpool, because what I got from ERE is that they wanted to know more about India. So I've stayed to the brief. There's nothing about Whirlpool. If you want to know something, please ask. I will answer. Also, ask as many questions as you want, whenever you want. I would like it to be as interactive as possible. And to start, this is what I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to do a little bit more of the economic overview of India, because I think there is, when you look at India, there's a lot of relationship in what's happening in the market and what's been happening in the economics out there. And you need to understand that, and I feel it's important to get a sense of that. And I'll rush through that a little quickly, but you'll get a sense of that. We'll talk about what are some of the key sectors, what's happening in manufacturing, the IT, the BPO, the business process outsourcing side, which is the call center and stuff like that stuff. What's happening in manufacturing? Normally, most people think of India as either computers or the call center. There's a ton more which is happening. In fact, these two sectors are no longer happening. They're not driving much of the growth. So then, what are some of the things, and this is more if any of you are interested in either setting up stuff or getting into India or advising your people about India, what usually works there? Okay. Some of the experience. And what have been some of the key challenges for recruiters and stuff like that? Okay. What I would like to know as we start, what is it that you would want to know? So, and I'll kind of put them here. If I don't have them, I'll add limit if I know. If I don't, I'll say I don't. So, yes.
I'd be interested to find out a bit more about the job market in India.
Okay.
So the job board market, which players work the job board market?
Job market?
Job board.
Job board, okay.
Which boards are out there, which ones work, which ones don't, would be really useful.
Yeah.
Maybe a piece on your agency suppliers.
When you say agency, you mean the headhunting agencies?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Within each job market, what are the really, really hard positions to fill versus average difficulty versus easy to fill, if any?
Okay. That's a good one. Yes. More.
There's considerations around what brands. So when you position yourselves in the market, you need to think about what people look for.
Okay. I'll cover this part of it in some amount of detail. So this is one I've got. Okay.
Challenges for organisations when they set up like centres of excellence.
Yeah. That I've got to. When you mean centre of excellence, is this something specific?
Or when they're offshoring parts of their process. Or
Okay. Challenges for, let me call it offshore transition. Okay. Yes, please.
Maybe any specific cultural sensitivities or differences?
Okay. Yes, Kevin.
What are companies doing to stop or limit the brain drain of people leaving to go to other countries to work?
Okay.
And sort of adding to that, how to entice people back.
Yeah.
How do we advertise them back?
And who else is coming in to fill the
Sorry, I didn't get that. What do you mean by who else is coming in?
and where are we pulling, where is India pulling skilled labor
Okay.
from outside their own
Yes.
population?
Great question. That's a great trend which is happening.
Or just overall worker mobility? Where are people coming in from? Where are they going out to?
Okay, what else? Before I did my MBA in Human Resources, been working for about 16 years, started with British American Tobacco in the manufacturing, been also in HR. From there moved to GE on the industrial side, and then moved to their BPO, in the GE BPO, one of the biggest, still one of the biggest in India. Then from there moved back into consumer side, was with Coke for a very short while. Anybody from Coke here? Didn't like the organization much. Moved to moved to Gillette, and then got acquired by P&G, and now I'm in Whirlpool. Okay, so it's a very old civilization. It's actually an ancient civilization, 5,000 plus years old, lots of history, lots of mathematics. Zero was actually invented by an Indian mathematician, and some stuff which was done by some Indian mathematicians got transferred into Arabia, which led to algebra. Those of you who don't know, interesting trivia, algebra has actually come from Al-Jabr, like Al-Qaeda. Al-Jabr was the guy who invented algebra. He was an Arabian mathematician. So in the old civilization, there was a lot of movement from India, China, and the Arabic civilizations. There are 1,000 dialects, 18 different languages, and they're very different. It's as difficult for me to understand the language of Bangalore and Chennai as it is for me to understand Chinese. Okay, and English is the common language, which is why we have an advantage. And if we don't have English as a language as a country, we will probably disintegrate professionally and even culturally to some extent. It's a very open market. It's had a lot of press, very open press. It's the largest democracy. We have had democracy pretty much since independence. We became independent from UK in 1947. GDP growing at 8, latest numbers for this year about 9.2, going pretty steadily. World's 4th largest economy in terms of purchasing power parity. More about that. Largest English-speaking population, and with a whole lot of accents thrown in. Those of you who've interacted with some of the IT folks in India would have experienced some of the accents that we have as a country. So, just an economic perspective. After independence, the last 40 years, we were a very closed economy with a very strong social bias. We wanted to be socialist. As a country, we looked up to the Soviet Union as our kind of a partner and role model, so to speak. Very little reform. The whole thing started in 1992, to be precise, when the economy got opened and import tariffs got reduced. But what was happening here is that India developed a lot of fair number of government players and huge number of private players. So one difference from China, and India, China keep getting compared, so I'll kind of answer that, is it has had a huge number of private people. Like many of you may have heard of Tata's as a group. They acquired Chorus, so they became known. They've been around for 100 years plus as a private enterprise, and many such companies exist. Interest rates, interestingly, at one time were 16%, 18% actually. They're now down to about 4%. This is the time where India actually moved from the 5% growth to 8% plus in 2003, and whole lot of things happening. A lot of FDI coming, nowhere as close to China, but lots of investment happening, and there are 2 reasons for it. One is as a place to invest for today because you just want to expand, and because you've got markets saturating in developed markets. Also from the long term, India's got amazing demographics for the future, and we'll talk a lot about that. There's a lot of discussion about the people retiring and so on. It has some impact. Now I've got data which shows from Hewitt what's likely to happen in 2020. That's one scenario.